I'm Jess.
I'm Rob.
Who are you?
Summer.
Did you go to school today?
Yes.
Yes? And did you have fun?
Red.
What are you getting for Christmas?
A bike.
What colour bike?
Pink.
What's your favourite colour?
Yes. Pink.
Pink's your favourite colour?
Just like my top.
Just like your top.
And what are you going to dress up
my
as?
dungarees.
Just like your dungarees. What are you going to dress up as for Halloween?
A butterfly.
Yeah!
A beautiful butterfly.
Just like the caterpillar.
Have you been doing gymnastics in school? So in our story part 1, we took you all the way up to the point that we got engaged in Italy. We gave you our proposal story. In part 2, this video, we are going to talk about what came after that, the wedding, falling pregnant, being separated in different countries when we were waiting or expecting our first child, Summer. And then the nightmare that followed that with COVID and coronavirus and us being basically homeless, away from our home for over a year.
With a baby.
With a baby, with a newborn baby. So, build it up to the wedding, should we start with that? We came back from...
Basically, yeah, we came back from...
Came back from our Europe trip.
Yeah, and it was
Full speed ahead. It was full speed ahead with the wedding planning. Jess and Jess's mum, went all guns blazing with the prep, and we set a date, didn't we?
Yeah. How long was it after? I think it was like
a year.
A year after.
Basically the following year. I thought the proposal, putting a ring on the finger, bought myself a little bit of breathing space. So yeah, the following July. So pretty much exactly a year later. Planning the wedding.
Yeah.
You decided to postpone your uni. Jess was in the final year of a degree.
I wanted to get the wedding done as soon as possible so that I could focus on uni.
And I wanted to get her down the aisle as soon as possible as well, to say yes, to make sure she didn't change her mind.
So we ended up getting married at the Rosewood Hotel. And if you haven't heard of the Rosewood, it's quite a swanky resort.
It's high end.
But my mum is brilliant
what a negotiator.
at negotiating.
Yeah, it was such a sweet deal.
It was such a good deal. Ended up being like the best deal out of all the hotels, and it's like a 6-star resort.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just perfect. It was like a garden wedding. It ended up being on the beach, just off of the beach.
So just picture that typical idyllic Thai beach wedding with tropical gardens.
Palm trees.
We've actually got a really good video of the wedding, actually.
Yeah.
We should put that up.
We'll post that.
We'll post the wedding video after this video, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll post the wedding video up after this. You can see for yourself what it was actually like.
So yeah, we had about 80 of our friends and family that came to witness us getting married.
Yeah.
Which was quite a big turn up for a destination wedding.
Yeah, we thought by having a destination wedding we might be able to cut some of the wheat from the chaff, but yeah, we still managed to get 80 people travelling out there. So we were very lucky. We got to share the day with our family and friends. All Jess's family and friends came from Australia. All my family and friends came from Wales and the UK.
We had some people here as well that we had come. Yeah, so it was just like, it was a magical day. It was amazing. That it couldn't have gone.
The whole period really, it was like one big 2-week holiday.
It was just a big holiday. Everyone that we had, all our family and friends here at the same
time. Doing so much stuff.
Yeah. After the wedding, we had a little mini honeymoon on a super yacht.
It was amazing. Amazing, wasn't it?
I just don't even know. I don't have words for it. It was just like a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, it was like it's literally like 100-foot. Super yacht, like 3-story honeymoon suite in the bottom.
Chefs on board.
It was incredible. We've probably got a video of that somewhere as well.
Yeah, probably. Videos tracking in here maybe. So yeah, we went on that for 2 nights, was it?
3 days, 2 nights. With all Jess's family as well.
Yeah.
There was about 12 or 15 of us, I think, wasn't that?
Yeah.
So that was like the warm up up to the honeymoon.
How can you top that? But
Which
we
was
did.
pretty incredible. Yeah, so straight from the wedding into the super yacht. We went out into the Andaman Sea and then all around the islands, over to Krabi, past James Bond Island and Hong Island and all the tropical sort of islands you can picture when you think of Thailand.
It was just like perfect.
Pre-honeymoon.
Way to start the honeymoon.
Yeah. So we
Anyway,
rolled off the super yacht, picked up our bags and headed for
Straight to the airport.
Pretty much,
yeah. Or maybe
Pretty
the
much.
next morning or something.
Yeah.
So we were going on our honeymoon to America.
So we decided we wanted a honeymoon in California and Mexico. So we planned out the trip. Lots of fun as well planning that trip. I think we had...
He's a really good holiday planner.
Yeah, if you need a good holiday itinerary, I am your man.
I just sit back and go.
Jess just asked where's the next place
Where are we going now?
And it's all taken care of. But yeah, we decided we wanted to go to California. I'd been to California before, but Jess had never been there.
It's always somewhere I wanted to go.
Yeah, so we flew in, had an amazing time. I think we had 2 weeks in California and then 10 days in Mexico. California, we did some pretty cool things. We went to San Francisco, we went to Yosemite National Park, we hired a Jeep Wrangler, like a soft top Jeep Wrangler.
Conceived our daughter.
Conceived our daughter, yeah, not in the Jeep Wrangler, I don't think. It was in a tiny home
Details.
in Yosemite National Park.
Do you want the video of that too?
So we believe.
We'll upload that one.
Still got that video?
Jokes.
So yeah, had a pretty good time on honeymoon. We've gone straight into conceiving our daughter there, but yeah, we were literally living at what seemed to be like a fairy tale, wasn't it? You know, from the engagement to the wedding to the honeymoon, then falling pregnant straight away.
It was just highlight
on honeymoon. It was a pretty special time, and still is a pretty special time. Which is why we want to share some of this story with you guys as well, whoever's watching.
We're still on the high.
Yeah.
So we kept travelling down.
Travel down the Pacific Highway. Such a cool drive. If you've never done that as well, that's pretty epic. Down to Santa Barbara, down into LA, then into Malibu, wasn't it? Caught up with a buddy of mine in Malibu, and then stayed in LA. Did all the typical...
It was quite a rushed, not rushed, but it was kind of like go. Yeah.
We did a lot.
We did do a lot.
We could either have decided to take it slow and do less things, or just be on the move every day, every other day, taking in more, seeing more, doing more. And we saw so much in that time. Went out to Joshua Tree, which is actually where we got officially married, because we had a few problems here with the paperwork in Thailand. Things aren't really that easy.
So difficult to get married here.
In terms of getting it officiated and getting it translated and authorized and all this sort of stuff. So it was actually easier for us to get married in Joshua Tree. There was just the two of us, and then we had a photographer friend of ours who lived out there, who was the witness. Then flew from there down to Mexico, down to...
How long did we go to Mexico?
10 days.
10 days in Mexico. All-inclusive resort, just...
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
It was a nice end to the California trip.
Traveling, bump, every day on the road. Not high stress, but always
nice
trying
to sit
to...
back and
always
be in the same spot.
Yeah, always on the move. So then we had a 10-day stay in Mexico, where it was just all-inclusive, all you can eat, all you can drink.
Beers at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Beers at, 10 a.m. was the
10
rule.
a.m.
10 a.m. was the rule, it wasn't 8 a.m, it was 10 a.m.
Like
we had to train, we trained first.
Oh god.
And that was actually when Jess started to feel,
I started to feel really sick, and I just thought, oh my god, I'm drinking too much, I'm hungover every day, or I'm eating too much food. And this one here, active.
I had her out playing tennis.
I was like,
we were doing water sports, all sorts of stuff.
Just like even sightseeing, like walking around.
We were walking through the ruins, the Aztec ruins, like 30-degree heat.
I just couldn't. I was struggling big time, but it didn't click to me that I just thought it was going to take us a while to have a baby, because yeah, you hear about that all the time. It takes quite a while.
Yeah, we were pretty fortunate on that front. So yeah, it turns out, unbeknown to us, that Jess was
well
pregnant.
and truly pregnant.
But we didn't find that out until we got back, right?
Well, yeah, no, we didn't find that out. No.
You had
I was so sick on the flight back as well.
Yeah. So started to feel a bit sick, nauseous, morning sickness, symptoms. So as soon as we get back, we did the test and
he did it.
one shot, one kill. That's all it takes.
Yeah. I was so shocked. I did not expect that. I think I just remember being like, I just didn't know how to react. I was just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange reaction at first, but yeah, we were over the moon.
I think I just.
You were a bit shocked, weren't you? You were a bit shocked that it all happened as easily and as quickly as it did.
Well, my mum actually said, "Don't come back."
Her final words as we walked off the super yacht carrying our bags were, "Do not come back unless you're pregnant." So, LJ Bartlett, mission accomplished.
She's waking up.
She's waking up. Someone's waking up. Mummy.
She might go back to sleep.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Yeah. And so.
Then we had the big decision to make.
Oh yeah.
Where were we going to have the baby? Yeah.
What the fuck are we going to do now?
That was not an option. We were having a baby. That was never a discussion. The discussion was, where were we going to have the baby?
What are we going to do?
Where were we going to have the baby?
Yeah.
Obviously, Jess being from Australia, my family being back in Wales in the UK, and Phuket being our home, we made the decision that it would probably be better for us to have the baby in Australia. She was going to be a little Aussie.
Which was the best decision that we made.
In the end.
In the end, yeah.
However, we had a little hurdle to overcome because I was banned from entering Australia for 3 years.
We actually forgot to mention that in the last one.
Yeah.
We were going down to Australia for our engagement party with all our friends and family.
So after we got engaged, I had obviously met Jess's mum and dad and her sister, but I hadn't met the extended family. So we were going to take a trip down to Australia and meet the family, and they'd thrown us an engagement party.
I think it was a surprise engagement party.
It was a surprise engagement party. And
we didn't even realise that you needed a visa. I did not think in my head that...
Yeah, being a Brit, we can typically just turn up in any country with our passport and they let us in. And I've been to Australia previously and applied for visas and should have known, but on the day that we were due to fly, Jess was trying to book our seats. He was trying to do the online check-in, and it was asking for a visa number.
Yeah,
it was asking for a visa number, and Jess texted me. I was working. I was in the gym, and she texted me and she said, "Do you need a visa for Australia?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So I got online and found an expedited service that did it within, I think, 12. It was the day, and I needed it. We were flying in 7 or 8 hours, and we needed it yesterday. And it takes 48 hours for a decision. So I found this expedited company that expedited it. So they basically fast-tracked the visa application, and I was in such a hurry to do it that I didn't really have time to read all the questions, just like tick, 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 tick. No, sent it off, and then it didn't come back. So we were in the airport, and they wouldn't let us check in because the visa hadn't been granted.
Yeah. And
we were waiting for the approval basically, and then it got deferred. So I was like, why has it been deferred? So the airline decided that they would let me on the plane, because obviously we told them the story. We were going back to Australia to meet the family, and we were just literally waiting for this visa to be approved, and it got deferred. So I couldn't understand why. So I got the first leg of the flight to Singapore, You flew on.
And continued on
to Australia.
See ya. Deal with your own problems.
See you later, mate. I got off in Singapore to try and fix whatever the issue was and to wait for the visa to get approved. And yeah, Jess basically arrived, and the surprise engagement party went on without me. I wasn't there, which obviously wasn't a very good first impression to make on the extended family. And it turns out that in my haste or in my rush to fill out the application form, one of the questions was, have you ever been convicted of a criminal offence in any country? And then in brackets, whether spent or not. So yeah, I had entered Australia previously and had declared that I did have a criminal record because at the time it wasn't spent. So at the time I did. But since then, you know, this instance happened when I was 18, which was I think about 17 years previous. So in my haste, I'd given false or misleading information and wasn't allowed to enter Australia, and as a result I got a 3-year ban from Australia. I wasn't allowed to enter the country.
You know, Australia's laws, false and misleading information
is in line with my character.
Probably worse than the actual criminal offence.
Yeah, so Jess went down, had the engagement party without me, and obviously had to explain.
Everyone thought I made up this guy.
I had to explain to the family that I wasn't made up, that I did actually exist. So we had to then overcome that in order for me to be allowed into Australia, for us to have the birth. So
backtracking to where we were.
Back to where we were. So I got an immigration attorney, looked at the case, explained the situation, and you know, seemed to think that it was a pretty honest mistake, and it would be undone pretty quickly once we gave all the information and made our case. So we were still waiting for the ban to be turned over and for my visa to be approved, and we were getting right up to the point where Jess wasn't allowed to fly. You were only allowed to fly up until a certain point. So my immigration lawyer kept telling me that it's just a matter of time, matter of days, and we got right up to the final day where basically Jess had to fly. So we decided that you would fly without me, on your own, down to Adelaide, and then, you know, fingers crossed I would follow you down within a few days or a week. And as it turned out, it wasn't a lot longer than that, but it was probably
about a month.
A month.
Yeah, I think it was a month. Yeah.
It was a month.
Yeah. Like
4
weeks.
I was like literally, you know, every day looking at the inbox, waiting for the decision, waiting for the visa to be approved and the ban to be overturned and everything else. The ban had been overturned, but the visa hadn't been approved. I think that was what the issue was. So Jess was down in Australia, we were apart, obviously getting closer to the date, closer to the due date. So quite a frantic time.
In the meantime,
there
was news coming out about this virus as well.
Yeah.
Which we didn't really think. Yeah, we didn't really think much of it. Before I left, it started to get worse and worse, and so I decided. I think it was that bad. I was wearing a mask in the airport on the way back to Adelaide, so it must have started to really get out by then. And then as
but we had no idea what was to come, did we?
No, but as the time went on of us being apart, I remember the news kept getting worse and worse about this virus.
Yeah. So every day the bad news was coming out in terms of...
and then countries started to go into lockdown.
Yeah, so I had a client here from China, and he had to leave, go back to China, because obviously that's where everything started, and that's where everything started to escalate. So that just caused us to be even more frantic and anxious, and just basically countries were starting to lock down. We were apart, I didn't have the visa. Jess was obviously nearly 8 months pregnant, so we were thinking, right, are we going to have to fly Jess and just lie to the airline to get you back to Wales?
I think that's what we were going to do.
Wales. We were like, right, we're going to have to. Jess is going to have to fly back to Wales from Australia. I'm going to have to fly back to Wales from Europe. I'm going to have the baby there. But fortunately,
maybe heart palpitations thinking of that.
Fortunately, the visa came through. I think it was maybe a month or 5 weeks before
I think you came back. Yeah.
Before the due date.
Yeah.
Might have been 6 weeks.
And when you came back to Australia, it was a week, and then we were in lockdown.
Yeah, I was there for a week and then boom, full lockdown. So if the visa hadn't come in, if it had been a week later, I basically wouldn't have been allowed to fly because all the airlines stopped running flights and the borders were closed and everything like that.
And you wouldn't have been able to get in at all.
Yeah, so I made it in by the skin of my teeth. But yeah, just so happy that we were able to be there.
It just worked out. Everything worked out in the end.
What we got here?
Somebody was woken up from. Oh look, haven't you, baby? Did you have a good sleep?
We're at the balcony.
We're on the balcony.
We're on the balcony, yeah.
Change of scenery. Hey?
Is that a nice view?
That's the skateboard.
The skateboard, yeah. There's a imaginary skateboard on the roof of the
How
pool
she gets skateboard out of that?
house.
Just a plank of wood or something.
We were about to go through the story about
About
when
your
you were
birth.
born.
Do you remember that?
Do you remember being
Remember
born?
Mummy,
Do you remember when you were a little baby?
you were in Mummy's tummy?
So this little one was born in Adelaide, in Flinders Hospital on the 6th of May, 2020. We were hoping for it to come out on the 5th of May,
5/5/2020.
5/5/2020, but
You were what?
she was about 40 minutes
I
after
was
that.
so cute.
You were so cute. Were you so cute as a
You
baby?
still are cute.
You were the cutest baby of them all.
So yeah, it was quite a stressful time. Well, not a stressful. It kind of
It was
was.
stressful
Yeah,
time,
stressful
yeah.
time in the lead
It
up.
wasn't the ideal scenario to be bringing a baby into the world, given that we were in lockdown.
We were in lockdown. We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't have visitors. There was no gas and air being allowed in the hospital. There was no support. So I think some countries actually didn't let the partners in. So we were just like.
Yeah, we were lucky
What the
that I
hell
was
is going
actually
on?
allowed in. And I was allowed in the early labour.
In the early labour, oh my
yeah,
God.
all the way through.
My
basically.
early labour was ridiculous as well. I thought the baby was coming, but
Yeah,
it was
we were driving into the hospital, and she was like, "I can't wait any longer. The baby's coming out."
No, I didn't. I was like, I can feel it. I could feel this pressure, and I was like, we were like 45 minutes away from the hospital.
It wasn't that long.
It
but,
was 40,
okay.
40 minutes away from the
25.
hospital. It was like
Okay.
It was 40 minutes. With the way this guy drives. Jesus. So you could imagine, I was just not in a very good, we were staying in an Airbnb. It wasn't it wasn't like our
We were staying in
home.
Airbnb. We didn't have our home
battery.
comforts. What happened?
Battery.
Not yet, babe. You could
Low
have kept
battery.
going. Yeah, we could have kept
Yeah,
going.
but I don't want it to just cut out.
Where were we?
Yeah, so in the lead up to her birth, it was quite a stressful time because of everything that was going on, the lockdown. We couldn't see anyone, we couldn't have visitors. They weren't even allowing gas and air at the time in the hospital for pain relief. It was just all a bit.
I was lucky in Australia that they were actually allowing birth partners into
Yeah, 'cause
the,
a lot of other
hospital as well.
countries were coming out saying that they weren't letting partners in until it was like active labour. So
Yeah, so what a time to be giving birth
God.
and having your first child.
yeah, I mean it's already such a
Anxious time,
anxious
right?
time,
For a woman.
yeah. It's the unknown, and then throw in all these other uncertainties, and it was just fear on top of fear for me. So basically,
Quite well, to be honest. Looking back,
we're trying to concentrate here, and Summer's. This is a lot harder this time round.
do you want to come and sit on Daddy's lap? Do you want to come and sit on Daddy's lap?
She's in a bit
She's
of
camera shy.
a crazy mood today.
In hindsight, the fact that we had that time together we weren't allowed too many visitors, so we were sort of on our own.
Yeah, we
in the
had all that
Airbnb. We
time
had
to-
your mum and your sister were
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
So we were just on our own, just trying to experience, you know, the
Just the
early
lead up to the
stages
birth.
of parenthood.
Yeah. Well, yeah. After she was born as well, it was just us, and we were just. It was nice. Yeah.
But the plan was for us to have summer in Australia, get all the paperwork done, birth certificate, all that sort of stuff, passport, and then to come back to Phuket within 2 months.
I think 6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks is the time that you can fly back with a newborn. So we were just banking on that.
6 to 8 weeks we were hoping to come, or we were planning to come to Phuket, but as it transpired,
We had to move on to. We had to extend our Airbnb, didn't we?
we had to find a new Airbnb, then we had to extend Airbnbs, and basically we were living a month to month, hoping, because at the time nobody had any idea that this pandemic was going to last for 2 years. It was like, oh, maybe it's going to last a month, or maybe a lockdown is going to be for 6 weeks, and then it was 2 months, and then it was 3 months, and we didn't know when the borders were going to open.
Yeah.
So we were literally looking a month ahead, having to move Airbnbs around Australia, so it was difficult. We had no real stability.
Yeah, so she was in 10 different Airbnbs in her first, or 10 different houses in her first
In
year.
the first year, she had
We
10
were not
different houses.
homeless, just FYI, let's just cover that.
Yeah, we weren't homeless, but we weren't able to get
We
back
didn't
to our
have
home.
we
Our
didn't
home was
have
here in Phuket. All our stuff was here. Our dog was here.
Yeah, and obviously Airbnbs are not cheap, so we were just.
We had to pivot, but we used it to our advantage.
Yeah.
We did a little bit of travelling. We went up to Queensland.
To be honest, it was actually one of the best years.
Looking back,
of my life.
Yeah, looking back.
It was just
I agree.
it was just like the whole, spontaneity of just going wherever you wanted to go and doing,
Yeah, we were very unsettled and unstable, but we made the most of it, and we used it to our advantage, and we just did a little bit of travelling, and we're adventurous in our nature anyway.
Yeah.
That was one of the vows we made to each other in our wedding, that we would stay adventurous even while we were married and had kids and all the rest of it. So we kind of stayed true to that, did a little bit of travelling.
And babies don't need much as well, is what we learned, like people set up nurseries and stuff, but we didn't even...
We had 20 kilos each, and we had a 10 kilo allowance for summer, and that was it. Everybody else sets up the nurseries and goes out and buys.
We didn't have a cot, we had a cot.
We were co-sleeping, she was sleeping in our bed for the most part, because some Airbnbs we had space, some Airbnbs were just like studios, some Airbnbs we had a spare bedroom, so it was all very haphazard, but we made it work, didn't we?
Yeah.
And in the end it was actually a lot of fun.
But the whole time we were still keeping our eye on the news and everything, still had in our minds that we were planning to come back to Phuket when it was possible.
We were actively, trying to get back to Phuket, watching the news, keeping an eye out for the latest rule changes, airlines, border opens, closures, all that sort of stuff. We were planning to come back. We were planning to go to the UK. We couldn't get back into Thailand, but we could go back to the UK because I was obviously a British citizen, and
roughly about 6 to 7 months after this wasn't it?
That was, yes, Christmas, so 6 to 7 months, because things had eased. The first lockdown across the world, things had started to ease, and things had started to go back semi-normal, but then it was the
UK's next
Delta variant or something, and then the whole world started locking down again, and flights were getting cancelled, airlines were stopping flights, borders were closing. So
our flight was still
running,
but we made the decision.
But we had heard stories about people getting stuck in Turkey or Abu Dhabi or Qatar, which is like the halfway point,
and also the
getting back to the UK,
and also the fact that the UK were actually
locking down themselves.
So we were like, why are we going to go back to lockdown?
Because at the time Australia wasn't locked down, was it? Things were pretty easy, but so we decided to stay in Australia for an extra 4 to 5 months. And then that's when we managed to get an Airbnb for that whole period, wasn't it? For 4 months. At the start of the year for 4 months. Then with a plan on going back to the UK, because Thailand was still not even an option. Thailand closed down hard, and they weren't letting anybody in. Whether, like, I had a business year, we had visas, all that sort of stuff, but we still couldn't get back. So we decided that we would go back to the UK first, because all my family hadn't even met Summer. So, you know, my parents, Summer's grandparents, had to wait for 13 months or 15 months? 15 months by the time we got back to Wales. So they were desperate to meet her, obviously, and we wanted to get back and spend some time with them as well.
Yeah.
So Summer's just coming back into the picture. She's causing a little bit of havoc. So we eventually we eventually got back to Wales, didn't we? Got back to the UK.
We eventually got back, and we saw Nana and Key for the first time, didn't we? Did we?
Did you go to Wales? Did you go to Wales?
No.
You did. Do you remember?
No.
Did you see Nana and Key?
No, I did.
You did.
So we got back.
We got back to Wales. Still couldn't get back. Still couldn't get back to Thailand.
No.
So obviously we were actively trying to get back to Phuket. We could get back into the UK, but we couldn't get back here to Phuket. So we decided to take a long holiday, essentially.
God bless your parents. We kicked them out of their bedroom.
We had to kick my parents out of their bedroom.
Bunk it up in there.
Because obviously we couldn't, we couldn't. Well, we didn't even want an Airbnb. We wanted to stay with my parents, but they were kind enough to sort of accommodate us. So we stayed with my parents for 3 months.
Yeah.
So again, made the most of the situation, because that was actually the longest amount of time I'd spent at home. I worked out since I was 16 or something crazy. That was the longest amount of time I'd spent at home. So that worked out as a positive in the end as well.
Yeah.
And then finally, we, having got the vaccinations and doing all the paperwork, Thailand decided they were going to let a limited amount of people back in on like a pilot scheme. Because I had a business here and the work permits and all the rest of it, we were able to finally get back when Summer was a year and a half.
Okay.
Okay, good girl. We finally got back here to Phuket when Summer was around a year and a half, right?
Yeah. And
so that was a year
then
ago.
she got to meet her other grandfather.
Her other grandfather. So the fourth grandparent, she was finally able to meet when she was a year and a half, who was here in Phuket the whole time, because while we weren't able to get back into Phuket, he wasn't able to leave Phuket, so he wasn't able to come down for the birth or come to visit us, the whole time. And then it wasn't until then, a month after getting back, we were finally able to actually feel as if we were able to settle, right?
Yeah.
We moved into a new house. Summer finally had her own bedroom. She's now kicking the camera over.
Oh, if you know, you know. If you've got a toddler, jeez.
So Summer finally had her own bedroom, and we were able to settle back into the island life that we were yearning so much for the whole time.
It was just so nice to finally be back.
Yeah,
it was a
relief.
dreaming of this moment for so long.
Life was just starting to get settled again. We were back to living the island life, back to the beach.
Yeah.
Summer.
Life was good.
Yeah, Summer was starting to develop and sort of thrive into a little toddler, and she was
such a cute
loving life, and still is. Settled back into routine.
Yeah.
And just as things got a little bit more stable,
decided that it was a good idea to have another one.
Yes, we decided to have another baby. We thought we decided that we wanted to have two, and that there was no time like the present. After going through all that period of turbulence and instability and finally feeling settled and stable, we thought, right, let's have another baby, and let's keep things interesting, right?
Yeah.
So 2 shots, 2 kills, which was pretty fantastic. So we are now expecting our second child, who is going to be a little boy.
Baby boy.
He is due in 4 weeks from now.
Yeah. Yeah, so based on the last experience, I just wanted to be a lot more settled, have our own house and not be in and out of Airbnbs leading up to the birth. So yeah, now I feel a lot more calmer leading into this birth. I'm so out of breath even when I'm talking. It's been hard running around with a toddler this time around, being pregnant, but I'm obviously a little bit scared this time around with the, the hospitals are different over here. They like to, I've heard a lot of stories that they like to give C-sections instead of let things happen naturally. But we'll see how it goes. We're planning on documenting that as well. What you guys?
We've heard lots of stories of people that have had babies during the past, and there seems to be a much higher percentage of cesareans here.
Yeah, basically I've given our doctor a list of things that I want for the birth.
Not demands, but yeah. Insurances.
So this time around we're going to try a bit more of a calm birth, hopefully natural, and if all goes according to plan.
Yeah, we're going to document it, hopefully create a little bit of a vlog to share the whole birthing experience,
what it's like
in a different country.
In a different country, yeah.
So at the end of the day, Phuket, Thailand, it's still a third world country, right? Even though we try to live a sort of first world life, sometimes it's very difficult. But they do have very good international hospitals here.
The hospitals are very good, the doctors are very good.
Yeah.
They're just, obviously back
different.
home it's midwife led, whereas here it's OB led, so.
Yeah.
It's going to be different to our first birth for sure, but we'll see.
So we're going to try and document that and sort of share that experience. And that basically takes us right up to now and the present time, right? So going ahead, we are hoping to share more of what it's actually like for us bringing up a toddler, bringing up a newborn baby, living on an island, living in a tropical paradise, which is Phuket. So we want to share that with you, bring a little bit of sunshine to your day, and just share with you what it's like for us raising a young family.
Here, yeah. So we're going to wrap that up as part 2 of our story. We hope you liked it. If you did, we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment in the box below. If there's anything else you'd like to see from us in future videos, let us know as well, and we'll do our best.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We would love for you to follow our channel and come along with us on our journey and to help us to grow our audience as well. So we would love for that support.
Really appreciate it. So we will see you guys in the next vlog.
See ya!
Bye!